If you have the items that I'm going to share today, your home may be looking a little cluttered, and I'm just going to say it, possibly outdated, especially if you're older or you're getting older. Getting older is fantastic. It's wonderful, right? But some of us are trying to declutter our homes, and we may have and be hanging on to things that we just don't realize, and because we've had them for so many years. So I'm going to share 11 items today, and maybe these will give you some good ideas and inspiration of some things that you can declutter in your own home. Okay, let's get into it, and these are in no particular order, but number one, I used to have this, and it's lots of framed photographs. I used to feel like, especially in my 20s and 30s, I felt like I wanted to be surrounded by my friends and family. So I would have all these photos printed out, I would put them in frames, and then I would cover every surface in my home, or my apartment, I guess at the time, with these pictures. And let me tell you, it was great, right? Everybody's around, I can see everybody, and it makes me happy. And if it makes you happy, then don't worry about what I'm saying. But when I got rid of these things, I got rid of all these photos, it just was a breath of fresh air, because now I have all of this space, I have flat surfaces, I don't have visual clutter, and it just feels so much better not to have tons of framed photographs everywhere. What you can do is, if you're worried about this, maybe try boxing some up and putting them away and seeing how that feels. You can always bring them back, or maybe rotate through some photos so you don't have as many. That's another idea. The next one is lots of ornamental items, and I'm not talking about ones that you love, right? I'm talking about things that maybe you've collected and you're no longer into the collection. Or maybe it's things that people have given to you and it wasn't really your vibe, but you ended up hanging on to it. Essentially, anything that you're hanging on to that doesn't have a lot of meaning to you. This could be crystal figurines, little sculptures, decorative plates, ceramics, you get the idea, right? I used to have this as well. And I thought, it kind of reminded me of different times in my life, and I liked to look at it. And I did, but I have to say, when I got rid of all of this stuff, it just made my space feel so much less cluttered and less heavy. Okay, number 3 is an interesting one, and this is kind of a new one for me, but the thing that I think could be making your space look cluttered and or outdated is if you've got a lot of things on your table, like table runners, placemats, lace doilies, and things like that. I know people that have a lot of these things, and I just kind of have come to the realization that they're looking a little cluttered and I don't really need them. I kind of always thought I needed placemats, but when I take them off, it just looks a little bit cleaner and neater. So I'm kind of experimenting with this one, but it's just an idea. Maybe think about if you've got a lot of layers to your table, maybe consider removing some. Because the other thing, when you have a lot of stuff on your surface, you're not going to want to remove it all and clean it. So it's just going to get in the way. I mean, you know all that. If you enjoy content that helps you simplify your home and your life, don't forget to click the subscribe button below. It's free. Okay, don't get mad about this next one. Actually, don't get mad about any of these, because really this is just all my opinion. Really, who cares what I think? But number 4, if you have a lot of knickknacks on display, and this is a little bit different than the ornamental ones, because I kind of think of knickknacks as maybe not even ornamental, right? They're just little things everywhere. And it's kind of like creating visual clutter to your eye, and you feel like you have to move a ton of things just to clean a surface. Box up half of those things and put them away and just see how it goes. Leave them somewhere else and see what you think. And then, you know what? What I like to do is sometimes I'll box up half of my decor, and then I will switch it out for the season, or I'll switch it out, throughout the year. And it just kind of makes me feel better, because I feel like I have a whole new refreshed space without having to spend money and buying anything. Because that's the other thing. A lot of times I used to go out and buy all new decor, and it's just a waste of money. So I live in a row house, and you can kind of see it's a brick row house, and I don't have windows on the sides of my house. I've shared this before, but essentially the only light coming in is from the front of the house and the back of the house. So I really want to maximize as much light as I can. And one of the things, when we moved in here, there were these really nice wooden plantation shutters on the windows, and then we had curtains. And it looked nice, but you know what? I figured out that it was blocking all of the light, and our house was so dark. So I ended up removing the plantation shutters. So for this one, I'm going to suggest that if you have heavy window treatments, you may want to consider removing them as well. I can't tell you how much lighter and brighter our house feels now that I've let in more natural light. And so if you have these heavy valances, heavy curtains, anything that's kind of getting in the way of your natural light, I'd say get rid of it. Try, if you can, take it down, see how it makes your house look. I think everything looks better in the sunlight and when there's daylight. And truly, back in the day, those heavy valances and things were really in style. I think maybe they could be looking a little outdated. So something to consider. So I bet a lot of people have this next one, and just kind of hear me out here. I don't think you need those huge TV entertainment centers anymore. You know the ones I'm talking about. They take up a whole area of your home, maybe a whole wall, and then they've got all these drawers and cabinets and holders and things. But you know what? People don't have that kind of TV anymore. Most people's TVs have the flat screen now, and you can actually hang those on your wall. I have mine on top of my fireplace, which a lot of you have commented looks ridiculous, which probably it does, but at this point, that's kind of where we're at. But consider maybe getting rid of the TV entertainment center. We don't have one. I think it would take up too much space in our living room, and also the fireplace is really the focal point of the living room, so I don't want to compete with that, but it just saves a ton of space to not have that kind of outdated TV center in there. And then speaking of outdated, and this is number 7, if you have those old towers and you can put your CDs in them, you can put your DVDs in them, and they just take up space, because you know what? Nowadays, you can get any movie, any song, any show right at your fingertips, right? It's all on the TV. You can rent it through your TV. Very easy to watch, through the internet, whatever. So I'm going to suggest, if you've got those towers and stands and things, they're probably taking up a lot of space. You can consider decluttering them. Okay, so number 8, and I'm going to say this one with a little bit of a caveat, but this one is if you have fancy candles and candle holders. I'm talking about those really kind of like taper candles and those candle holders. Now, but what I'm going to say with this one is if you have those, but you don't use them because they're too nice. I personally don't use scented candles anymore, but they have plenty of tapered candles and nice candles that don't have a smell. But what I would say, if you have these candle holders and these candles and you're not using them because they're too nice, and you're kind of waiting for that day when you're going to have a nice dinner, today's the day. You're going to have the nice dinner today and you're going to burn the candles, because if you've got them and you don't use them and you've been hanging on to them for decades, use your stuff and enjoy it. Okay, I've shared this next one, so I'll kind of share this one a little quickly, but I want to talk about and think about your bedding. Some of the things that I think you can consider getting rid of in your bedroom are things like decorative shams, decorative pillows, the throw pillows that everybody makes their bed with. Also, the bed skirts, or some people call them valances, or dust ruffles. Honestly, these things are simply causing your bed to be too difficult to make. It's also creating dust and allergens and toxins. Just get them out. Number 10, I got this one because I just got back from my mother-in-law's house. So she gave me this idea. But number 10 is if you have a lot of decorative linens that you don't use. She has dozens and dozens and never uses them. They're all nicely pressed and they're in a cabinet and they're there, never being used. And I get it. They're really nice and she's collected them over the years, so she doesn't want to get rid of them. So I'm going to say here, if you have the same, use them. Use those linens every day. And if you're not going to use them, why are you hanging on to them? Okay, so this next one, when my husband and I were getting married, we didn't register for China, and all these people were up in arms. What, you need to register for China? You'll regret it if you don't, and blah, blah, blah. So we ended up spending days and days to agree on a China pattern. I mean, it was crazy. We could not agree on this China pattern. We finally picked it. We put it on our registry, and when the big day came and we opened up all our gifts, we got a sugar bowl. That's it. From the whole thing that we registered for, we got a sugar bowl. So you know what? That sugar bowl went back. We don't have any China, and I'm not too sad about it. So I'm just going to say, if you have China and you have it on display or even put away, I think maybe you could consider getting rid of it. It's interesting. I go to the thrift store and I very often see entire sets of China. It's kind of sad because it's probably somebody's wedding China, but they're just not using it. Unless you're going to use your China, or unless you do use it, I don't think you necessarily need to hang on to it. Maybe you could find somebody to pass it over to. You could donate it. You could sell it. That could be something interesting. It's just something to think about. I'm not telling you to get rid of your China if you love it. And who am I to talk about China anyway, since I don't have any? But I just think that if it's taking up a lot of space in your home, maybe you could consider that. As I was scripting this video, I realized I could do a part 2 because I have a ton more things that I think are making your home look cluttered and outdated that I can share. So just let me know in the comments if you would like to see a part 2, and I can work on that. And I will also just mention, and I'll have this below, Organization HQ is doing their annual conference. It's virtual, so you can just watch it from your house, and they have free all access passes. I'm gonna link how you can get the pass. You just have to sign up, use my link below, and you can watch the whole conference, and it's pretty cool. There's hundreds of sessions. I've got a session. I'm doing 30 home hacks for sustainability. So if you can make it, I will put the link below. In the meantime, if you want to keep watching, I'm going to link a video up here. And again, don't forget to subscribe if you're not already here. I would love to have you here. Bye-bye.